welcome back to my channel. Before I start this recap slash reaction slash commentary, make sure you subscribe.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Thank you. Now, let's get to this recap. This is going to be a very quick overview slash recap. And I'm gonna also share my thoughts, any comments, and then at the end I'm also gonna give a top 9. This will be purely based on the episode that I watched, because like we saw in episode 1, they don't show all the girls, so that's why I can't necessarily say these are my top 9 predictions that are gonna debut at the end, because I didn't see the rest of the girls perform. This is gonna be more of like my top 9 picks of episode 1, and I want to give a little spotlight for them. So first, let me just basically what I got from this episode was that this is going to be very similar to Produce 101. The whole setup and the way they enter and preview each girl was very similar to Produce 101, which I actually liked. The first episodes are always my favorite, where we get a little taste of all the different types of performers. And I really liked how in this show, instead of grouping them by the group that they're performing with or that they've been practicing with, they actually did one girl from C group, J group, and K group, and then they categorized them by a personality trait or a similarity that they shared together. And again, that kind of speaks to the whole concept or theme of the show, which we saw in the 99 performance video, how despite all the differences of these girls, they still share a commonality together, which is their dream to become an idol. I noticed from this episode that the C group, J group, and K group members all have different nuances or themes to each of them, and I feel like there's a lot more deeper psychology behind it. For example, K group, as we know, we've seen a lot of Korean trainees from past competition shows. Like, this is not new to us. We are very familiar with seeing how hardworking, how talented, how precise they are when it comes to performing K-pop. And that kind of pressure, it can either make or break you, but they definitely have come on the show with that pressure, with that standard, like knowing that there are other Korean trainees in the past who've succeeded through these types of shows. So they have that weight on them, and you can see it, especially with the CLC member Chae Yujin.
너무 기대를 하는 것 같아서 걱정했죠.
I do think that was like the common pattern I saw within the K group trainees. The J group, we're starting to get a little bit more familiar with Japanese K-pop trainees. Does that make sense? With Japanese trainees, we've seen a lot of shows, like JYP has done a show, Produce 48 has done a show where they have combined both Japanese and Korean idol trainees. Because of Produce 48 and how they portrayed a lot of the J group trainees, the Girl Planet 99 J group trainees came in wanting a redemption. As we saw with Izaki Hikaru's group, they performed Boombayah. As we know, Boombayah has a dark past. But they proved everyone wrong. Oh my god. She's a star. Now, what makes this even more interesting is that there is a third group, C group. We've actually have never had a show where there's another focus on another country besides Japan. So I'm really So it creates an even more unique dynamic on the show. Maybe there would be a few individuals who came from China to be an idol trainee in Korea, but they always came from a Korean agency. It sounds like a lot of the C group idol trainees actually come from an agency in China, or they had already debuted in China as a successful artist. Because of this, they're coming in wanting to create a very strong and bold impression. And I love it. I'm like really here for it because it creates a more intense competition, which I love. And I think it's gonna really push everyone, not just the C group, but everyone from each group to deliver and show their most potential. So already, like, we're seeing a lot of C group girls coming in bold, coming in strong, and wanting to make a lasting impression on the judges and the girls. Which leads me into the next topic of discussion. You could call it a scandal, you could call it drama. It added a little spice to the show that I was not expecting. A C group girl named Pu Yaning, her group was going to perform Helicopter, and she was the leader of that group. When asked by the judges if she had anything to say to one of the CLC members, because that was their song.
But you don't.
Awkward. Very awkward. I like to think that maybe Pu Yaning was a little nervous, and she also wanted to maintain that girl crush, bold, 세 언니, you know, strong sister kind of style. And she didn't mean it as in like, oh, like I'm better than you. I don't think that's what it was. I think she just wanted to seem very like badass girl, you know, very girl boss kind of vibe. I understand also where Chae Eugene's coming from. She might have been a little like startled and not sure how to respond to that either, but I think she was very professional about it and responded pretty normally. The final topic I want to talk about is this girl crush trend that I'm seeing. I feel like this was not as prevalent in past Produce 101 seasons. I think it has to do with the fact that a lot of the very popular girl groups right now follow that style. Blackpink, aespa, Everglow. I personally loved it. If they were trying to attract viewers like me, they were successful. So another common thing I noticed that the judges would point out often was if a girl had pose, aura, ki. Those were the three words I heard the most. Just from my perspective, I feel like pose and aura are very similar, where it's indescribable. You can't really put it into words, but when you see them perform, you just feel this very strong presence from them. Again, it's not like how well you perform, how good you sing, how good you dance, because there were a lot of members who would be good at singing and would be good at dancing. Like K-group number 1, Kim Dayeon. And then also Choi Ye-young. They were ranked number 1 and number 2 by the judges and mentors from their initial evaluation. When they did the Planet 9 evaluations, the judges did not select those two as their pick, which says a lot because I personally thought their performances were perfect. What Kim So-yeon showed when she performed alongside them, she had this aura that couldn't be explained. The third thing that I mentioned, ki, which I heard a lot, which is, it means energy in English, and Koreans use that word a lot to describe someone who has a lot of energy. One perfect example of someone who shows a lot of ki is Seo Young-eun.
에너자이자 18살 서영은입니다.
You could see it in the way she talks to people, the way she responds, the way she reacts, when she performs. It translates through all of that, and because of that, I think she delivered a very successful performance, and that's why she also was selected as a Planet 9 pick. Because the mentors and judges kept mentioning those three things, I really think they're trying to make a girl crush girl group, and I'm here for it. Now, finally, I will go into my personal Planet 9 pick in no particular order. I really liked Yurina, Shun Sha-Oting, Seo Young-eun, Izaki Hikaru, Kim Da-yeon, Kim So-yeon, Kang Ye-seo, Cha Yi-bing, and Choi Yu-jin. The final girl that I picked, Choi Yu-jin from CLC. We didn't get to see her perform, so why did I pick her for my personal top 9? Whenever they put someone at the end of an episode and they use them as a teaser, they're giving that person a lot more attention for a reason. And I've noticed in past shows that they do that for usually a big player. So that, as someone who's a fan of these types of shows, my eye was definitely on her because of that. Whenever they show someone crying after, I think they're trying to trick the viewer to think that she did badly, but then usually what happens is they're crying because they passed and they got chosen and they did really well and they're just so happy to be acknowledged and validated. So I think it's more on that side. Also, the fact that she took off her heels, she ain't playing. Let me know down below who your top 9 pick is. I'm going to keep this up for the whole season, so make sure you're subscribed, make sure you like and comment, hit the notification bell so that you can keep updated. So thank you for watching. Bye. It sounds like a lot of them actually came